the Aero Survival Rifle in 10mm. Let's check it out. TNW out of Oregon got their start making MG42 and Browning M2 heavy machine gun replicas in semi-automatic. A lot of attention to detail, and they're beautiful. But then they got into the Aero Survival Rifle. This is a blowback system. What's really cool is that you can just twist and unscrew the barrel, and it makes a very compact package. Another big plus for the ASR is that you can do caliber changes with a number of different calibers with just a few of the parts switched. So this makes it a very versatile system as well. It does take your standard Glock mags for all the different calibers. You can also get it in the 1911 version. Just a really cool design, and this one is in 10mm, which really gives this a punch. We did a review on their pistol a few years ago in 9mm. A very handy small package. This gives the game up to where this could be used for hunting, it can be used for a lot of different things. But in a survival situation, or if you just have limited space and you want to pack something away that you can get to if you need to. And we want to give a big thank you to TNW Firearms for sending the ASR in 10mm for this review. Honestly, I've had this one for a while. It's been a long time coming, but this is a really cool rifle system. Well, the TNW Firearms out of Verona, Oregon, and they've been around since 2012. You know, it's a very established company. They started producing the Aero Survival Rifle and then the Aero Survival Pistol, which is ASP-ASR. These are direct blowback actions. They're fairly simple in design, but they're very effective. We've had a lot of good experience with both of these. Now, this one we did the full review on and a number of years ago, actually. And this does come with a pistol brace, one of the SP Tacticals. We had taken it off when the ATF was messing around with braces, but it does come with that. And this is in 9mm, it uses 9mm Glock mags. And we're going to go ahead and release our magazine and check the chamber. The gun's empty. And then we have the rifle, and that's what we're really going to take a look at today. This is in 10mm, exact same characteristics, just a rifle form with a stock and a 16.25-inch barrel. I think Canadian versions, which they do import to Canada, I believe they are 18.75 inches, which is their legal length. They do make California compliant firearms as well. Now again, this is in 10mm, so we're using our Glock 20 mags. They fit really well in here, and we're going to check to make sure the gun's unloaded. And these actually come with the SGW mags, and you can get those extended mags. I'll tell you, SGW has been a really good mag. We've gotten those in a number of different firearms, and for an aftermarket mag, they are excellent. I mean, I do depend on those mags, and you can get those extended capability. Of course, here, you know, we're going with 15 rounds. Now, it does have a tubular design, and actually this is considered the firearm. So you can actually change the barrel out, and we're going to show that. The receiver can be changed out if it's a caliber that doesn't use the standard configuration. Like the 45 Glock, 10mm Glock. If you went to 9mm, you could go with 40 Smith & Wesson, 357 SIG, or 9mm. And then you have a bolt head change. And they do have packages which have multi-calibers. In fact, they even have a bag you can set your barrels up with. I mean, they've got a lot of accessories that go with this. And it does come in a number of colors, and of course this is their green. They do a beautiful job on their anodizing. And it also comes in FDE and a number of other colors. And this, of course, is the green, and then we just have the black. Again, very nicely done, anodized finish. Then we have our barrel system. Now, one of the things about this, you can get these extended, even M-lock extensions to go over your barrel. But this is the beautiful thing about this barrel system, is I can take and just turn this, and the barrel comes right out. Now we have a very small package, and this to me is really what makes this a survival option. You can pack this away, you can store it somewhere, whether it's in your vehicle, in a boat, airplane, especially bush pilots up in Alaska and different places. This just makes a great option. They also make 22 caliber, so if you want to go with that as well. Really, for Alaskan bush pilots, I think 10 millimeter would be an excellent choice. Then you can just have your Glock model 20 or 29, and you can have it on your hip, and then you have magazine compatibility and you have caliber compatibility. Now here with the barrel, you have an index key, so it only goes in one way, and then you have your locking system, and this just screws in and it locks, and you can hear it ratchet down. And so it is fitted to the barrel, so it's not going to come off. Here, of course, at the end, just put it in with that key facing up and lock it into place, and then you just start turning. And it's really fast and simple to do. So if you're in a situation where you need it, it doesn't take long to get this reattached. The barrel again is all steel. It does have a threaded barrel, and we've got a thread protector on there. And so they even make barrels that will adapt to certain suppressor mounts. We have this area right here. You can fit a Picatinny rail. They have those options. And then obviously with the top, it's just one long Picatinny rail, so you can put your optics on there. Here we have one of the SLX from Primary Arms, just a red dot, and we did use a magnified optic as well, especially when we were doing accuracy. We wanted to make sure that we could get not just red dot accuracy. And for 10 millimeter, you can kind of stretch out at least to about 100 yards. The charging handle right here, it's shaped in a certain way, and we can just bring that back, very easy to bring back. And then we have a notch which comes up, and then we can hold the bolt open. This does not have last round bolt hold open. It is a blowback design, and so there's no mechanism to be able to hold it back. But you can lock it back, then you just hit it like the HK slap, and you're back in business. But the tube itself on the top is your firearm. And so that allows for you to put different magwell lower receivers, because you're going to have different sizes. Now this is AR compatible for your pistol grip, and this is removable. The trigger, we're going to take a deeper look at that, but it is not AR-15 compatible. We have our standard buffer tube here on the back, and of course it's 6 position, and we have our castle nut and our back plate, and of course those can be switched out. One thing you will notice is that there is a pin that comes out that holds that back plate into the correct position. That way it doesn't shift around and slide. Included is this buttstock, and it is padded with a rubber pad, which is removable. And again, you can just adjust this out with QD ports on either side, and we have one mounted. But again, you can switch this out for any AR-15 buttstock that you have. Now your mag release is right here in front of the mag well, and just very natural to pull that. It locks into place really well. Slight bit of wobble, but that's typical. We do have a little finger groove right here to be able to place your hand. And with these screws, you can mount a Picatinny rail for, a vertical hand grip or other accessories. We have a standard cross bolt safety. It's marked red for fire, and of course you can just push it through. Then we have our trigger. It's more of just a blade style trigger. And then you can see that the milling that gives these relief points in here, and really just to fit with the trigger. Now one thing too is we have anti-walk pins in the trigger. Sometimes with AR-15s you can have some walking, so this just locks that in and keeps it from walking out of the receiver. Now this is right-hand eject, which means it goes away for right-handed shooters. With the other side, you can actually take this out, switch the bolt around, and you can have left-hand eject. And that way it's for left-handed shooters. Now you can't change the charging handle to the other side. As you can see, it's filled in. But it definitely keeps the brass from hitting your face. Well guys, here you can see the trigger is pretty much just a light blade. And then as far as trigger action, there's a little bit of take-up. then it hits a very light wall, and then you have your break. It's not super crisp, it's tactile and definitely audible. And then your reset comes out right there. We'll check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge. 4 pounds 13 ounces, 4 pounds 12.9 ounces. That's pretty consistent. And when it comes to the weight of the ASR, 5 pounds 8.3 ounces, and that is without the optic. It's 29.5 inches when the stock is collapsed. If you remove the barrel, it gets it down to just 17 inches, which matches pretty close to the 16.25 inch barrel. Again, this is very easy to pack because of the consistency of the size and just removing the barrel. Now again, the calibers start out at 22 long rifle, 9mm, 10mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 ACP, 460 Roland, so if you really want to get some power, and then also 357 SIG. And all of those will use your standard Glock magazines. I want to give a big thank you to Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammo, all made in the USA, one of the #1 suppliers of ammunition in the country. And a big thank you to Lula Loaders. Makes it really easy, double stack, single stack, doesn't matter the caliber. The Mag Lula is just awesome. All right, the TNW Arms Survival Rifle. We did an original 9mm of this. This is the 10mm. They also offer this in 45 ACP as well. Uses Glock mags. Picatinny rail on top. We have a Primary Arms SLX red dot. The real cool thing about this rifle though is that I can take this barrel off. And I'll tell you guys, this makes a very small package, especially when you collapse that in. And there's a key in here that you can only put it in one way. So very simple, but yet really a cool rifle. These have been around for a little while, but 10mm or 45 or 9mm. But again, Glock mags, charging handle on the side. Now you have 15 rounds. You can get extended magazines for these as well. Has that 10mm power, but yet very small, compact. Again, you can bring the stock down to make it really small. But this is one of their older versions. There may be some upgrades to this, but even in this configuration, it's a lot of fun. We have had a lot of good success with this rifle. These are a lot of fun. They are threaded at the end, so you can put on a suppressor as well. But great little rifles. Now as far as disassembly, we're going to drop our magazine, go ahead and check the chamber. It's clear. First thing is we'll turn it over and we're going to push out these pins. Now we have 2 pins here and here on your little receiver, and just push those out. They're very easy to come out. They're not captive, so you want to keep up with them. Then we take our little receiver. Now it just comes right off, just like that. And you have 2 posts that lock in to these holes. And then when you put your pins in, it just braces those pins and locks into that groove. Here we have the lower receiver. You can see the hammer system, very similar to your AR-15, but definitely different as well. Again, this is not compatible with aftermarket AR-15. Also, you have your ejector right here. And I mean, the finish inside is just very well done. And then it has a roll pin in the back, again, that indexes with your back plate. But a pretty simple design. Then we have our upper receiver. Now to get to the bolt, we're going to take off our barrel again. And I'll tell you, these holes here allow you to really get a good grip on this tube. And once we pull the barrel out, now we want to get our charging handle back just a touch so we can pull this out. So it's great to take a dowel rod, just push on the bolt and just allow it to get to that position where this will just pull right out. This is under spring tension, so you want to let this out really easily. And really you could do that with about anything that's kind of long. You can get in there and put pressure on it. And then here we have our bolt system. Guys, very heavy mass bolt, and this is part of the blowback action. You can see the grooves that allow this to ride into place. And then we have our extractor and our bolt face. Definitely a few cues from your AR, but definitely a lot different. Now this bolt area does separate from the carrier, and that way you can actually change this out for different calibers. Now here is your firing pin retainer pin, and on the other side you'll see it's just open and the firing pin exposed. So you want to get a really thin punch and be able to go in there to be able to push out your firing pin retainer pin just like that. Next, we can remove that, and then we can just pull the bolt head right off. Now we have our firing pin and firing pin spring. And so here we have the bolt completely removed. You'll need to know how to do that once you start conversion kits, but you can go to the TNW YouTube page and they show a lot of maintenance and how to change out the conversions. Again, here we have the bolt system, or the bolt carrier, and very nicely milled and definitely weighty. Now to reassemble your bolt, first take the bolt itself, put the firing pin with the firing pin spring in here, and then put it into your carrier. You're going to want to make sure that you have these two grooves lined up, and that's going to be the correct position. Now on this side, this is where you have your charging handle. So we're going to turn it around to the other side. I'm just going to get the pin started because we have the firing pin still exposed. Now they recommend putting a small block in here to get the firing pin up to the position where you can put in your pin. What I'm going to do is make sure that this is lined up together. Just set the pin in there, the retaining pin, and then I'm going to hold down on the bolt. And as I bring up with a punch the firing pin, I'm just going to lock it into place. And so now we've got it set and we're ready to reinstall. Take your upper receiver and insert your bolt carrier. With a dowel rod, we're going to want to push until we see that hole meet right there, and we can drop in our charging handle. Then we can release it. We're going to go ahead and put it in our barrel, making sure the key is in the up position, and then we're going to just go ahead. This allows for you to a little ease in putting on your lower receiver. You can release some tension on that bolt to relieve it off of the barrel. Next, take your lower receiver, match it to the two holes in the lower receiver, lock it into place, take our pins, and we're back in business. Now currently the price for the ASR or Aero Survival Rifle is $5.99. They do have a manufacturer suggested retail of $9.19. So that's just what I'm seeing right now, 2024. That's a great price for a 10mm that takes Glock mags, very packable. Removing that barrel is just huge. It makes this a very small package and thus survival rifle. It's a blowback action. It's really simple, and I think that's going to be key to this really functioning well, which we have had no malfunctions with either one of these. If you want to go with something really small, this survival pistol definitely gives you some advantages. Another big advantage of the ASR system is that you have multi-calibers. You can change out all kind of different calibers for this. Now you do have that upper receiver that's going to fit any of your different calibers, but you may have to change out your mag well, and you'll be changing out your barrel, and then of course your bolt. But that really makes this very modular. What are some cons? Well, you know, it's a different design, but it is proven. It's been around since 2012. It doesn't have last round bolt hold open, that's important, but it does have Glock mag compatibility. That's a big plus, and you can switch out your grips. Another con would be that you can't put in aftermarket AR-15 triggers, but you can put on whatever buttstock you want to put on here. So definitely a very cool system. Of the barrel being able to be removed and make this really quick to re-employ if you need to, really gives this an edge over a lot of the other firearms that are on the market. And again, very compact, even for storage and keeping up, not necessarily in a survival situation. This makes a great option. This would be great for a vehicle gun because it makes it so compact, and definitely for bush pilots or definitely those who, you know, really want something as a survival option. So guys, the TNW Firearms ASR, very compact package. Removing the barrel is very simple, easy to maintain, blowback action, and of course the caliber conversions make this very attractive. Great for survival, great just to take out to the range, great if you need something that's compact and you want to just break this down. Again, a big thank you to TNW Firearms for sending the ASR in 10mm for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. TNW Aero Precision, but then they got into the Aero Precision. Okay. You can switch that. Nope. The ejection port. Okay, now I don't want to get into that yet. Don't want to get into that. I can stop right there. Now, how are we going to do that? Now, whether you're a push pilot, ASP, ASR. Here comes Peter Cottontail.
I promise you they're not thinking anything of it.
Promise?
Yeah. Well, when you got this truck coming going, how can I not help but go? You see that? He didn't even see you wave. How's he supposed to see me? He ignored you. What?
Oh, it's Grand Central Station.